All right, everyone, welcome back. This is like literally 5 seconds after I ended It Follows. We're talking 1981's 80s slasher, Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker, which I haven't seen this movie in probably a decade. I remember a decent amount, like the premise and stuff like that, and like the general plot, but like a lot of this was pretty much like a blind watch. Like, I didn't remember like a lot of things in this movie. This was definitely an interesting rewatch. And the alternate title for this film was Night Warning, which I've said in a few 80s slasher reviews and stuff that these movies in the 80s and stuff all had so many alternate titles and stuff like that. Blood Rage and had a different name, Nightmare at Shadow Woods, and The Mutilator, Full Break it was also called, and so many of these 80s slashers and stuff. And I don't even know if I consider this a slasher film. Like, yeah, like we get kills and stuff like that. But to me, this is more like a real like character study almost, and it's very like Psycho-esque in a few ways, but I will dive into that. But it's directed by William Asher, who he's done a lot in like with TV and stuff like that. He directed episodes of I Love Lucy, of Bewitched, Dukes of Hazzard, The Twilight Zone. Like, he did a lot of stuff in television before getting to this movie. And we have starring Jimmy McNichol, who plays Billy, the main character. We have the great Susan Tyrrell, man, and her performance as Aunt Cheryl in this movie. Excellent. Such a good performance. And I never realized, I don't remember, for like I said, it's been like maybe a decade since I've seen this movie, but is it just me, or she looks like a lot like Ellen Burstyn? Especially like after she cuts her hair later in the movie. Like, she looks just like Ellen Burstyn in a lot of the scenes. Like, just like her mannerisms, her face too, like she looks like her. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but, if anyone's seen my Requiem long ass fucking dissection, discussion and everything, they know how much I love Ellen Burstyn. So, just seeing her and stuff, I was like, she looks a lot like Ellen Burstyn. And for anyone who didn't see the review I just did of It Follows and stuff, welcome to my sauna in my family's log cabin upstate. I'm up here for the week with my daughter and her grandparents, my parents. And this is just such a nice room. So I shoot in here whenever I'm up here, which is like every month. And apologies for the lighting and stuff like that. But like I said in the last one, I'll play anything into making it on purpose. The flickering and shit, it's for an ominous mood. It's to make this more scary and horrifying and tension building. Who knows what's gonna happen? Who knows what I'm gonna say to you fucking people? It's a haunted sauna. That's exactly what it is. All done purposely. That's how genius I am. It has nothing to do with the fucking shit light that's in this room. It's all here, man. It's all pre-planned. It's all fucking pre-thought. We have a young Bill Paxton in this in a small role. Always good to see him. We have Steve Easton, who I only bring up and stuff because he played the cop in Nightmare on Elm Street 2, which anyone who's just followed my channel knows that's my favorite in the franchise. So good to see him. And then we have Bo Svensson playing the detective and everything, and he wrote a lot of stuff as he went on after being an actor and stuff. He wrote for Inglourious Basterds and Kill Bill 2 for Tarantino and stuff. He was like a writer for those movies, and he was Walking Tall, the old show and everything, and he's been in a lot of stuff. I really like Bo Svensson, and his performance in this movie too is just like the total bigot, full of himself, thinks he knows, got everything figured out detective is great. He does a great performance in this movie as well. And I'll always the first thing I think of now when I hear his name is from Breaking Bad, when Mike Ehrmantraut's giving his monologue in Half Measures, the episode Half Measures. And that's one of my favorite episodes of the show. And that's one of my favorite monologues in the history of television. When he just goes on about the guy who killed his girlfriend or wife with the blender and stuff, and that he'll never make that mistake again and stuff. No more half measures, Walter, and stuff. What a fucking monologue, man. That is just absolutely brilliant. Just amazing. It's one of my favorite scenes in the whole show. And Breaking Bad, another one of my favorite shows of all time. When he mentions him, he just says like, "Guy, he looked like Bo Svensson. You remember him? He's like walking tall." No, so I'll always think of Mike Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad whenever I hear Bo Svensson's name. We have that great opening scene with the accident and stuff with the parents, with the logging truck, and how it goes right through the fucking windshield and just right through the father's fucking head, and the blood squirts and stuff like that. And then the car's being pulled still because the log is straight through it, and she's trying to control the wheel. Then it just falls off the cliff and fucking explodes and everything. Great opening sequence, great fucking accident scene. Really, really cool. And then we cut to 14 years later where Billy is living with his Aunt Cheryl. And Aunt Cheryl loves Billy a little too much, as we see throughout this film, and I'll get into that. But Billy is a basketball player, a very gifted basketball player who might possibly can get a scholarship to the University of Denver, I think it was. And basketball is his world, man. Like, that's his fucking passion. And so the whole themes throughout this movie of Aunt Cheryl's incestuous nature towards Billy, who we obviously we find out later, obviously, that it's not his aunt, it's his mother. And it just plays into the whole Freudian Oedipus complex as a main theme in this movie. And it's explored so well. It really is. And it's very, very well done. There is some great symbolism in this movie, which I'll get to also in a little bit. But yeah, just the whole Oedipus complex angle to this is very, very well done. Like, very, very well explored. Then we have the scene that pretty much kicks off the premise of this movie. And what happens, we have Cheryl with the repairman at the house, and you could see just how sexually deprived this woman's been for so long, that she's throwing herself at this repair guy and saying just like, please, like, I need a man and stuff like that. You can do anything you want to me. And this repairman is not having it, because we find out later that he's homosexual and in a relationship with the coach. So he wants nothing to do with it. And she just fucking takes a knife and just stabs him, and then stabs him in the neck and stuff like that. Which is one of my gripes with this movie, is there's no gore, really. There's a lot of blood. There's a lot of decent like blood and stuff like that throughout the movie. But there is like almost no gore in this movie. And as an 80s slasher, like I said, that's why I don't really look at this as a slasher. Like, it's not the only reason, obviously, but I feel like if there was much more gore in this movie, like when she chops off the other detective's hand near the end of the movie, like if we got something like out of Blood Rage and stuff, like if she cut his hand off and blood was squirting out and we see his hand on the floor and stuff like that, like just stuff like, gore implemented into this movie would make it so much better. And it would make it so much better for me. Because I enjoy this film, but it's not a favorite of mine. It's like I said, very good performances from, most people in this movie. The premise and stuff and the themes and symbolism and everything throughout this movie, very brilliantly done. I don't know, there's just something about it that just not a favorite 80s slasher movie to me. And I think the lack of gore has a decent reason for that. I'm an 80s slashers, that I've said many, many times on this channel, is my favorite subgenre of horror. And the gorier, the better, man. Like, Intruder fucking has two of my favorite slasher kills of all time. And just like, if this movie had more gore, man, it would be so much better. And we meet Detective Carlson, played by Bo Svensson, who I said gives a great performance. Is just this complete dickhead, bigot fucking detective. And great performance. And his questioning of Cheryl and stuff, and she isn't immediately taken in fucking to custody and then interrogated and everything while the investigation goes on. Like, get the fuck out of here. Come on, seriously? Like, they've come to this house and there's a dead fucking body on the floor, blood all over her, and she's saying that he attempted to rape her and that she killed him in self-defense. And they just talked to her there and just let her stay at the house, and like, get the hell out of here, man. She would be instantly taken and arrested for fucking murder. Then they'd investigate and figure out, was this an attempted rape, was this self-defense or anything like that and stuff. There is no way that they're just leaving her fucking at this house free fucking after murdering somebody. Get the fuck out of here. That's so stupid. Her whole little shrine to Chuck in I think it's like the basement or something like that, like to the father of Billy and everything. Creepy stuff, man. Like really cool. And especially like as we see more of that room later on. But yeah, she's really not helping her case at all. Like when he comes back, the detective, and she's fucking screaming like a maniac and banging the tire iron on the table like she's a fucking psychotic woman, man, which she is. But like, she's really not helping her case, like one fucking bit. Like, she tried to act like she'd killed this guy in self-defense, and there's a fucking detective here to talk to you again, and you're screaming at him to get out of your house that he just walked into your house, and you're banging a tire iron on your fucking kitchen, center table and stuff, like a lunatic. Like, right then and there is this guy's reason for saying, yeah, she absolutely fucking killed this guy. Like, she's out of her fucking mind. Which she is, but fucking crazy. His whole theory, Carlson's theory on Billy being gay and was in a relationship with the coach and like a love triangle with those two and the repairman and everything like that. And that Aunt Cheryl was taking the rap for Billy killing the repairman and stuff. Like, I mean, sure, he makes it sound a little plausible, like without a doubt, but we obviously know that's not the case. And I'm sure there's been cases like this in history and stuff like that, but it just makes no sense here. And he just has such fucking like tunnel vision on the fact that Billy's a homosexual because this guy's a fucking bigot, like in the most extreme form, fucking just calling everybody in this movie a faggot, fucking like everybody, like every male character in this fucking movie is called a faggot like a few times from this detective. Like they do a good job of making him very dislikable, even though it's Bo Svensson, who is awesome. But his whole theory and stuff like that, and that the repairman wouldn't want to rape Aunt Cheryl because he's homosexual and stuff like that. And then the other detective like brings him information and stuff saying that the repairman was married at one point, so it is plausible and stuff. And he just shuts that shit. I don't want to fucking hear it. He's like, you do this on your own time. If you're doing it on department time, like I'll fuck you up or whatever he says. I mean, like he just has complete tunnel vision. Like he knows exactly what happened in his head, and this is exactly it, and it all comes out of his extreme fucking hatred for homosexuals. Which it's fucked up, man. And just the way they touch on homosexuality in this movie, and the way that they portray the coach as such a good person and such a likable person. Like a lot of movies in the 70s, 80s and stuff like that touch on homosexuality and everything like that, they always try to portray the gay person as like a pedophile or a creep and stuff like that. Like, you see that so much in those older movies. But in this movie, like, he's a fucking great person, the coach. No ill intentions, no, like, creepy shit with his players in the locker rooms or anything like that. Nothing. He's just a great guy who has a boyfriend and he's openly gay and stuff like that, and it's absolutely fine. And I love how they do that in this movie. The way that they just make him just a normal person, a normal guy, that his sexuality does not matter one bit on his character. And it's great, the way that they handled this. Let's see here. Thunder is a great name for that dog, man, for Julie's dog, because that fucking dog is ferocious. Like, I don't have a fear of dogs, but I was, well, maybe a little bit now, but like years ago, I got bit by a fucking Rottweiler, like on my thigh, and like almost brought me to the ground. Shit's fucking scary, dude. Like, that shit was fucking very scary. But this is one ferocious dog, man, and Thunder fits in perfectly. What a great name. Like, I don't know if they knew he was going to be this aggressive of a dog when he was a puppy, or if they got him as a puppy, but great name choice. Thunder, very good. How did that other detective know that Julie was going to be coming out of the house, like exactly when she did? And who the fuck, especially as a detective, like, it reminds me of Scream with fucking Dewey, who I cannot stand, when he holds the ghost face mask up to the door just to scare the living shit out of fucking Sydney. Like, that's what it reminds me of here. Like, who stands in the dark under trees and shit, like, almost like he's hiding in a bush, and then jumps out and scares the shit out of this fucking poor girl, dude. Come on, that's so stupid. That's so dumb. And then, like I said, the symbolism in this movie, the entire symbolism with the whole milk stuff, and it doesn't have to be whole milk, it could be skim, whatever you enjoy. But the entire milk symbolism of that, him drinking the milk from the carton at the very beginning, like drinking milk from the source, like a baby would do, and drinking milk from a mother's breast. And her saying, use a glass and stuff. Well, why dirty a glass and stuff? So he drinks it from the container, from the source. And how the milk is, in so many shots, there's glasses of milk throughout this whole movie. And just the way that they use that symbolism is great. Very, very well done in this movie. And we have shots, too, of like, there's a shot of like the statue of Mother Mary and stuff like that, and another nice little symbolism thrown in there as we find out, later in the movie that she's actually his mother and everything. Like, there's a lot of great symbolism in this movie. Like, they really, especially for, early 80s in a low budget slasher movie, like, very, very well done. Very good stuff. And then the whole thing of her drugging his milk the few times and stuff. It's like, milk for a baby and stuff is the source of nutrients, is how that you keep this baby nourished and alive. And the whole idea of poisoning that and using it against somebody is awesome also. Like, they did such a good job just with all the symbolism in this movie. A great job with all the themes they explore and the whole Oedipus complex and the milk and everything. Just really, really well done. Which is why I said at the beginning that I feel like this is more of like a character study, like into the character of Cheryl and just her incestuous nature for Billy and her dark past with her boyfriend and everything, and that she can't be alone and stuff, that she has severe abandonment issues, doesn't want Billy going off to college and stuff. Like, this movie revolves around Cheryl, and it's so well done. Which again is like, I'm questioning myself even now in this moment, like, why don't I care for this movie as much as I do? Like I said, it's a great movie. I don't dislike it in any way. There's so many great things in this movie. It's just not a favorite of mine. Like, it's something I'll definitely, rewatch again. Like, if I have nothing to watch and I'm browsing through something, I see, all right, I'll throw that on again. Like, but it's not a favorite. That's all. But when the fuck did she have time to renovate that entire fucking attic? And make it this, we see the attic when Billy goes up and gets the boxes near the beginning and stuff. And that's when he sees the picture and he falls down the stairs. He sees the picture of his father. And Cheryl says that it was her sister's boyfriend and stuff. And he even has like devil horns that she drew on his picture. That's funny. But we see the attic. It's in complete disarray. and through this whole movie, she's saying to Billy, like, I need a man around the house, and could you help me with this? Could you clean this up and stuff? Where the fuck did she have the time to renovate that entire attic and make it look like a pristine, brand new, like, really nice looking room for Billy? She didn't. That's the answer. No, she did not do that. Fucking ridiculous. And then what fucking cop pulls a gun on a suspect in his office? Like when he brings the immigrant in, and he tells him sit, and there's no chair. He says sit on the fucking floor, and he just pulls his gun out and he's pointing it at him while he's about to question him. And the other detective comes in and sees this and says absolutely nothing. And the other detective doesn't like Carlson. Like after he said, like, do this research on your own time and stuff, he walks away. He calls him a dick or something like that. It's like, so he doesn't like this guy. And you don't say anything. You walk into this detective's office and he has a gun pulled on a suspect. Or not even we don't even know why he's there. Illegal immigrant, possibly. We don't even know if that's true and stuff. And he has a gun pointed at this guy in his office in a police station. And this other detective doesn't have no quarrels with this. Like, sees no issues with this whatsoever. Get the fuck out of here. Come on, are you kidding me? That's so stupid. Come on, man. The reveal that Cheryl has Chuck's skeleton in that shrine that she has to him and stuff, awesome. Like, really, really cool when you first see that. And when she hits Julie with the meat tenderizer and stuff, when she tells her to go to the fridge, that whole scene too of her just saying that she, like, Julie trying to explain herself and her saying, like, I do understand, and like, I remember Billy's like still my little boy in my mind, and like that whole performance in that scene is great. Such a cool scene. Such very, very well done, great performance, like throughout the whole movie, obviously, but particularly in that scene, very, very well done. And she hits her with the meat tenderizer, and fucking knocks her out and stuff. And again, like with the gore, like if this movie had more gore in it, it would really elevate this film for me. Like, but in a way, I could see, like, it doesn't need it. It doesn't need to be that gory. Because, like I said, like, just like the themes this movie explores and stuff, and everything, like, the whole premise of this movie, you really don't need a lot. It kind of reminds me, like, Don't Go in the House, which is a favorite of mine from, it's technically not 80's, it came out in 79, but what a great movie that is and stuff. And the weapon that Donnie uses, man, if anyone hasn't seen that movie, like, I won't spoil it, but fucking fucked up, man. That shit is evil. But it kind of reminds me of that. And there's like hardly any gore in that movie and stuff, and it just works. So maybe I'm being a little overcritical of like the lack of gore and stuff, but just the fact that this is always referred to as an 80s slasher and stuff like that, like, just makes me feel like it would have benefited from even just a little bit more gore. I'm not asking for like her to be hacking heads off and shit like that and blood spraying all over the place like Hatchet style, but like a little bit more would have satisfied me a little bit more than it does. And then Julie's blood is on the fridge door, and Billy and what the hell is her name? I think I wrote it. Margie, the friend or whatever. They don't notice the blood on the door of the fridge, like on the inside of the door when she opens it up, like on the racks. There's like her blood on like 2 or 3 of the racks. They don't notice this. Like they're staring right at the fridge. Like in one of the scenes, or one or two of the shots, they're staring right at her opening the fridge door. And they don't see blood all over this door? Come on. Really? Like, come on. These people are the most unobservant people in the world, dude. Like, you don't see that. Then she tries, when they go into the other room and stuff, she starts cleaning the top rack with her scarf or whatever. And then she just closes the fridge door. There's still blood on like another rack or two and stuff that she doesn't clean at all. Like she just cleans one rack and then just like, I fuck it, and just shuts the door. What if one of them went to grab a drink or something? They open it up and what the fuck's all this blood doing in here and stuff? And where's my girlfriend and stuff? That makes no sense at all. That makes no sense. And then I like when Julie finds the shrine to the father and stuff like that, and sees the skeleton again, and then we see the fucking guy's head in the look like a formaldehyde jar or something. That's awesome. That is such a cool shot of the head in the formaldehyde jar. Really, really cool. And then she kills Margie with the machete and stuff, stabs her with it, and so Margie's dead. And then Cheryl starts telling Billy when he's drugged from the milk and stuff that she drugged, that she starts telling Billy the truth, that she's the mother of him, and that this sister, who he always thought was his mother and stuff, adopted him away from her, and that the father, Billy's father, Chuck, was going to leave her and stuff, and that's why she ended up killing him and stuff and keeping him with her and stuff, and that's why he wants to keep Billy with him also. But as she's giving this whole story and stuff so seriously and creepily, then the phone rings and she'll like, be right back. That cracked me up, man. She just like was so serious telling this fucking disturbing story, and then the phone rings and she's just like complete different, like 180 in personality, and just like, or maybe 360. Who knows? This woman's fucking crazy. She can have a million degrees floating around in her head. But just the way she just like completely changes personality, like, I'll be right back. I'm like, that's funny. Like, it's funny, man. And then she kills the other detective with the machete and she chops his hand off, and like that's like one scene there. That, like I said, if it was like Blood Rage or something and stuff, and we got at least just some blood squirting out of the stump and stuff, like after his hand was cut off with the machete, it would have added a bit to that scene for me. And then she stabs him again with the machete, I don't even remember where she stabs him or something, because it's not memorable for me, because there's no real blood or gore or anything. This movie's very tame, is the point I'm trying to make, if you guys didn't figure that out yet. That's my point. It's very tame, but in a way, like I said, like in a way it doesn't have to be over the top or anything, because it's exploring so many themes and concepts throughout the movie that it really doesn't need it. So it's just a minor nitpick of mine. And after she drugged Billy again and stuff, and she's chasing after Julie, that whole chase sequence, and she knocks her out again and stuff, and this one she's just full-on psychotic after this. And then she comes back in after Billy regains consciousness and tries calling the coach, and just her line there of saying, like, I'm your girlfriend now. That's fucking creepy, dude. That's such a creepy line. That's such a fucked up line. And then he stabs her with the fireplace poker or something like that, or something, and thinks that he killed her, and he calls the coach and tells him that he killed his mother, and the coach's response, his reaction, is such an underreaction. Like, he's like, I killed my mother. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I killed her, I just killed her just now, and stuff like that. He's like, all right, hold on, I'll be right there. Like, that's it. Like, no other questions. Like, what are you talking about? Your mother's dead for, 14 years. Like, what do you mean you killed your mother? Like, and you killed somebody? Really? Are you okay? Like, nothing. Just like, I killed my mother. Like, she's laying dead in the house and stuff like that. All right, I'll be right there. I mean, I get that. He's probably so concerned. He just wants to get over there before wasting time. But it's like, come on. Like, you had no other questions, like, at all? Like, I don't know. That's ridiculous to me. And then, Tom comes, the coach and stuff, and after Billy kills Cheryl for good, which, again, some nice symbolism. He, like, stabs her with I think that's the fireplace poker or whatever he stabbed her with the first time. I don't remember what it was. But, like, with the poker and stuff, which is a phallic symbol, and penetrates her with it. Like, just that whole thing, too, is just, like, the symbolism is so good in this movie. It really is. Like, it's the number one thing going for it, this movie. It's just the way that they explore these themes and concepts and everything. From the Oedipus complex to everything. Just every theme that's explored in this movie is what is my favorite thing about this film. And it's done so well. And let's see, and then she's dead. And then Carlson comes, the detective, and he's still fucking thinking, even Julie says, and she's like, no, Cheryl killed him and stuff, like, it was Cheryl and stuff, and he's like, take her away, and like, she's like, check the basement and stuff, which they would find the fucking guy's head and skeleton and shit like that, and it proves 100% that it's Cheryl. And nope, he's such on a fucking one-way track that it's these homosexuals that he is so bigoted against and hates so much that he's like, no, I don't want to hear it. Just take her out of here. Get her medical attention. It's like, are you serious? You fucking asshole. He does such a great job, like I said, of playing just a despicable detective in this movie, which is hard, man, because he has a charm to him, Svensson. Like, I love Bo Svensson. And so he did a great job with this. And he comes in and fucking Billy gets his gun and shoots him dead and stuff. And then we get the little text at the end of the screen, at the end of the movie on the screen and stuff, saying that Billy was, put on trial for killing the detective, and he was unanimously found, he was unanimously acquitted by the jury and stuff due to temporary insanity. Which I don't even think they needed to play the temporary insanity angle. I mean, just self-defense. This fucking crazy-ass bigot cop came in there and stuff and there's numerous people who can confirm what happened. Like I said, Julie, Tom, he wasn't there when she was killed, yeah, but Billy called him over there. And he knows them so well and stuff like that from being his coach and stuff like that. Like, there's a few people who can absolutely confirm that Cheryl was the killer. So they didn't even really need the temporary insanity plea. Like, they could have just went with self-defense. Like, this guy came in and fucking tried shooting this kid. And I don't know, maybe just being safe going with temporary insanity was a lot more safe of a way to go than just self-defense, especially a cop. So, I mean, it makes sense, but still, like, it made me think about that for a little bit. And then Billy and Julie are attending college together at the University of Denver. Like, they planned for the whole movie that Cheryl is trying to obstruct because she just wants her fucking son to be there because she's a crazy fucking bitch who likes her son way too much and is just... But, yeah, man, very interesting movie. Like I said, and I remember the premise, and I remembered the general idea of what happened in this, but like, I do remember this movie being more gory than it was. And maybe that's why it stood out to me so much on this rewatch. Because like I said, I haven't seen this movie in maybe a decade, if not longer. So, good movie though. Very good movie. Some great acting, some excellent symbolism and exploration of themes and everything like that. The score is very eerie. The score is very effective in this movie. Just all around, very good movie. Like, I think I grew a lot more appreciation for it with this rewatch than the other. I mean, I've only seen this movie maybe like twice before this rewatch. Once or twice, 3 at the most. I wouldn't even say that. Probably twice I've seen this movie before this. But this rewatch definitely gave me a new appreciation for this movie. And it was brought up on Reddit as a idea for a film for me to cover. So shout out to whoever that was. I don't remember, but just for bringing this movie up and then saying it was on Shudder and stuff. I said, oh, good. I'll do that. So yeah, great movie. Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker. Really, really cool. So like I said, I'm upstate. I got my daughter and everything, so I'm trying. And good thing I'm an insomniac, man, and I'm a total night person. Because if not, I wouldn't be getting a lot done in the next week. But expect like at least one a night, if not 2 reviews, like a night or early morning up. But all right, guys, I'm going to go enjoy the day. I hope you all do as well. And I will see you guys tomorrow, tonight, whatever, wherever you're from. Take care.